Hey y'all, I'm Amaya, and this is my channel, Fashion Diaries, or Fashion Diaries 101, depending on what I put on my channel. But anyways though, this is my first ever YouTube video. Actually, no, that's a lie. This is my first ever YouTube video on this channel. And this is basically a channel where, I just talk about whatever, mainly about fashion, pop culture, anything between, or really anything my little mind comes up with. But yeah, it's a channel about fashion, and as a fashion student in Johnson Wales, this is something I'm very passionate about, and hopefully I get to grow with this channel. But yeah, that's my introduction, and let's get into it. Now, the nitty gritty of why I'm here today, besides this actually being a school assignment, ooh, my bad, I'm actually here to talk about why stylists are so important to the industry. Like, why are they so iconic? Why are they so cool? And why does industry in fashion need them so desperately? So, to get started, we need to know exactly what is a stylist? And according to Fashion Careers Guide to Stylists, a stylist is a professional that curates a look for another person and or a brand. And I know you might be thinking, well, that's kind of obvious. Like, we all know that. And it is true. It is very obvious. But without stylists, brands would not survive. Stylists are the very reason why brands are able to be so marketable. Without stylists, brands would not be able to adapt to younger audiences or to older audiences, depending on what they want. And clothes would not be appealing to you if it were not styled in a certain way or certain aesthetic that appeals to you as a person. So honestly, when you really get into it, stylists are really that girl, as they should be. Now, there are many different types of stylists, and for good reason. It would be impossible, girl, impossible for one type of stylist to do the many, many roles and jobs that are in the fashion industry and what the fashion industry, Jesus, I can't speak today, relies on. And that's also why I'm only going to be talking about three today, because I think that would be kind of easier, and I also think these are good examples. So the first type of stylist I have is a personal stylist. These are probably the most common you will see. Everyday people usually go to personal stylists. These are people that usually work at a Macy's, a Nordstrom, and they usually work with one individual to build up their wardrobe and just their closet and to boost your confidence. This is kind of the most average stylist you will get, and probably the most affordable you will get, and probably and this is probably where most stylists start off as someone working again at a Macy's, some type of department store. And the skills of a personal stylist is someone that needs to be very positive, communicative, and also creative, because again, you are creating people's looks of their visions of what they want. But you also need to be positive because you also want to build that clientele so you can move up in your career. The next type of stylist is a celeb stylist. This is probably the most popular stylist in the industry. And when I mean by popular, I mean most people know what a celeb stylist is. If your favorite celeb is probably Zendaya, you probably know of her stylist named Roach Law. He's a perfect example of a celeb stylist. He has styled people from Celine Dion, Ariana Grande, Brandy, Monica, and of course Zendaya. He also happened to start as a personal stylist. Like I said, you have to work the ground up. But again, he's just a wonderful example of a personal stylist. And to be a personal stylist, you need to have the skills of being creative, being outgoing, being adaptable, and most importantly, being reliant. These celebrities, they go through so many crazy stuff that they're going to need someone to stick it with them to at least look decent on press tours, interviews, red carpets, you name it. They're being styled by this one person that they need so desperately. My last role and job of a stylist is a runway stylist. Runway stylists are probably the underdogs of styling. I don't think people get how important these stylists are. Without them, there would be no runway show. Besides the designers, there would be no runway show. And a good runway stylist is probably Katie Grant. She's worked with the likes of Vogue, Marc Jacobs. She also does editorial styling as well, but she does a lot. And the role of a runway stylist is basically to market the clothes and make them look palatable to people watching the runway and make them look good on the model. Besides the model's job being able to market clothes to viewers, it is also the stylist's job to make the clothes look marketable on said model. Without a runway stylist, you probably would not be buying clothes on the runway, because let's be real, some clothes on the runway do be looking ridiculous. But without those said stylists, you wouldn't even think about buying them in the first place. So honestly, you should really give runway stylists credit when it's due. They definitely deserve their flowers. But good skills to be a runway stylist is to be creative, adaptable, again, reliant, hardworking, outgoing. But the main one is definitely creative. That's the most important one, especially with these looks from brands like Vivienne Westwood, Marc Jacobs, all these brands. And speaking of brands, who are the ones hiring these said stylists? Well, brands essentially. According to stylecareers.com, brands like Nordstrom, Macy's, and even big brands like Vivienne Westwood are always looking for stylists to boost sales. Even Macy's has an opening for a stylist. For any personal styles out there trying to get some experience, Macy's is honestly a really good place. Even Nordstrom, even though they're kind of high end, depending where you go, it's a good place to get experience. So that's a tip for you out there. But my point is, these brands are always looking for some type of stylist to boost their aesthetic, their popularity, and just their appeal to just people, the newer generation. Without brands, stylists would not have the experience, let alone the jobs that they need. Without brands asking for stylists and really demanding the need for stylists, there would not be any jobs for stylists. So honestly, we do need to thank the brands out there for giving us stylists and wannabe stylists a chance out there in general. And finally, to the very reason why I even made this video, why are stylists so important? And honestly, why should we care? Well, based on this video and what I've told you, they are important because, without them, brands, models, and even the industry will not have the vision or multiple visions of what to do with clothes. And I know that sounds very dramatic, but it's very much true. Without stylists, how would we know how to put certain pieces together? And even the most ridiculous pieces we see on a runway, how will we know what to do with them if we didn't get the inspirations we see on Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram? How will we know what to do? How would the industry know what to do? How would just regular everyday people that just love clothes know what to do without stylists? The answer is nothing. Without stylists, we would not have the many aesthetics and choices of clothings out there without them. Without stylists, there wouldn't be many different cores like princess core and brat core or mermaid core, all the stuff you see on Pinterest and TikTok. Without stylists styling these clothes to fit these certain aesthetics, you and me both would have no idea what to do and what to call these styles and how to put pieces together because they are so important. And without stylists, brands would not even know how to appeal to a certain demographic of consumers. It's been said that Gen Z is a really hard demographic to appeal to, especially to these older brands like Tom Ford and, again, Vivienne Westwood, even at times. Like, Gen Z is a really hard demographic to crack into. So, without stylists making all these different quote unquote cores and all this stuff on social media, these brands would be tanking hard. And in conclusion, these brands and just the industry in general would be in shambles without stylists. And so that is my video on stylists and why should we care and why they're important and what their roles are in the industry and how to get roles of being a stylist in the industry. And I really appreciate y'all for watching and even taking the time to listen to me ramble. And again, since this is my first YouTube video, please be nice and tell me what I can improve on and what I could just do better at, and maybe give me more ideas and what to do on this channel. And so, yeah, thanks for watching, y'all.